What's up, everybody? Welcome to Florida Hood Blogs. Have you ever wondered what it's like living in the hood? A lot of our subscribers don't have that background, so they don't understand what it's really like to live in the hood. We have a really diverse audience, and some of us may not have that experience. So I want to share with you guys what it's really like to live in the hood. Now, we know the basics: crime, poverty, drug sales, gangsters, and all that, but we want to dig a little bit deeper into what it's really like to live in the hood and what the real concerns and worries are of people living in these marginalized areas of society. Now, I've had the opportunity to live in some very nice areas like gated communities, and I've also lived in very bad areas. I was born in Cuba in the city of Camagüey, so if you've never lived through it, this top 10 list will be interesting to you, and it'll be very eye-opening into the realities of what it's like to live in the hood. You guys ready for this list? Let's do it. Number 1 is boundaries. People in the hood don't respect your boundaries. Maybe your property line, your space. People are habitual line steppers. They're pushing your space, your patience. They're constantly testing you. They're non-stop moving your property boundaries. They'll park a car on the grass. They'll park a car near your property. They'll put something over the fence hanging into your property. And if you avoid confrontation, that lets them know that they can walk all over you. It's basically you're giving them a free pass to walk all over you. So you have to know how to step up for yourself, because they'll put trash on your side of the property. They'll park a car on the grass. They'll play music too loud. These people are professional line steppers, professional boundary steppers, and you'll end up with your neighbor's garbage on your lawn, their cars on your lawn, their music inside your house. They're professional line steppers, boundary crossers, and they do it to test you, and you have to be ready to stand your ground. Number 2 is new neighbors. Every time those yellow stickers go up and you know somebody got evicted and somebody new is coming across the street or next door, all you can do is wonder and worry about what your new neighbors are going to be like, because let's be honest, usually in the hoods, in bad areas, it doesn't attract the best quality of people. There are some great people that have some tough situations, but sometimes when you get new neighbors, it can be scary not knowing who is going to fill that void in your community. It's weird how this is one of the scariest things of living in the hood, but every time one of the properties adjacent to yours goes up on the market, or there's a new for rent sign, it really does scare you. It's the unknown of what new challenges you're going to have to deal with. Because when living in the hood, each individual person is a challenge that you have to deal with. And as you'll find out later on in this list, you have to deal with people whether you want to or not in the hood. Number 3 is tunnel vision. No, I'm not talking about that crappy song that Kodak Black made. When all you see is poverty, and all you see is failure, lazy people, bad people, you lack experiences. Rich people, they can travel, they can see the world, they can get a lot better understanding of the world that's out there. They see the bigger picture, they see better places. But you don't have that experience. You don't understand that there's something better out there. You don't understand that there's people out there trying harder. When all you see is people that have given up and stopped trying, your vision becomes very short-term. And with a short-term vision, it's like being up all night and thinking that the sun's never going to come out the next day. It's going to come out. There are going to be brighter days. There are going to be brighter situations. But you only see the narrow vision that's in front of you right now. You lack the perspective to look further ahead. And you also lack the education to make better decisions when you do have money. Number 4 is no investment. Nobody wants to invest money in the hoods. Some banks even have regulations where if an area is 60% or more renters, then they won't finance a house there. So nobody wants to put their money into the hood. If you're opening up a new business, you're not going to open up a business in an area where people are going to be stealing from you, where people are going to be causing disturbances, where people don't have any money to spend, and also where there's a risk of looting. That's definitely not something that you want your entire stock to be stolen, missing. People don't want to deal with that, and many businesses avoid the neighborhood completely. Now, there are businesses like Walgreens who take that risk. I'm not saying this is the greatest company out there, but there are companies that are willing to put their businesses in the hood. But many businesses like Publix just won't put their businesses in the hood. Starbucks is another company that is reluctant. They don't invest in these neighborhoods. Number 5, and this is definitely one of the worst reasons, someone always needs something from you. And I'm not just talking about the guy begging for money across the store. I'm talking about your neighbors, the people that you have to deal with, whether you want to or not. You make friends. You have to make friends, especially with the gangsters and the bad people. You definitely don't want to be on their bad side. And these people are always going to need something from you. Hey, help me move some furniture. Hey, I ran out of sugar. Hey, do you have a glass of milk? Hey, do you know what happened across the street? Sometimes people will knock on your door 3 or 4 times a day. You get to the point just like, hey, enough is enough. Don't call me. Don't talk to me. Don't bother me. People are always needing something from you. And there's a lot of uneducated people in the hood who can't figure out how to use a phone, who can't figure out how to do anything, pay a bill, whatever they need. They're always looking, and if you're that better person, you're that more successful person, then there's always going to be people soliciting you, and they're not paying you for it, they're just asking for it. Number 6 is crime, and we all expect this to be one of the reasons living in the hood can be a lot of trouble. However, what people outside the hood don't understand is that how crime affects you. Not just crime, but the fact that you could call the cops, and the cops are going to eventually leave, but the people that you call the cops on are still there. The fact that nothing can be done to stop the crime. I mean, if you do call the cops, nothing's going to be done. The general consensus is crime is okay, and if you try to be a law-abiding citizen, guess what? You're the bad guy, and it makes you the undesirable person. So if you're trying to stop or prevent crime from happening, now you're the problem. Want to take a selfie with your cell phone outside? Not so fast. We're doing some business over here. We can't have you taking pictures. Want to do a barbecue outside? Not so fast. There's some drive-bys going on, and you might get shot. It really takes away a lot of your freedom. Number 7 is your outlook on life, and this is a personal thing. And I've felt this before. It's a very bad feeling. You get depressed, you gain weight, you lack effort, you have no goals, you have a dead-end job. You start to believe you're never going to be anything. You start to look for come-ups. You act reckless. You don't care about the consequences of your actions. It's a self-destructive course. You refuse to work out of your situation since all the odds are stacked against you. Why even try? You start to believe in miracles and gambles and things that never actually result in anything good. Creates an unhealthy relationship with family and friends. Sometimes you get too close to people who you shouldn't get too close to because of the dependency on them for monetary help or other reasons. You could really be surrounded by a pack of wolves and not even know it. When you do come up out of that situation, you're going to lose all your friends because they were just there to take advantage of you. It's really sad. Number 8 is actually not that bad. There are no rules in the hood. After living in a private gated community, I was so happy to come back to the hood. I opened my front door. You can't have your door open in these neighborhoods. Just opened the doors, opened the windows, played my music as loud as I wanted. I parked my car on the grass. There is so much freedom with living in the hood. It actually feels like, when I came back to the hood, it felt like I was released from prison. I felt like a kid when summer spring break comes along. It just feels like this weight of regulations and rules is lifted off your shoulders, and you can do whatever you want. You can play music, you can open your doors, open your windows, you can just do whatever you want. There are no rules, so that is a beneficial thing for a lot of people. Sometimes living in nicer community has too many regulations. You have to mow your grass. You can't leave junk outside. Living in the hood, you can really do whatever you want. If you're going to do a barbecue, it has to be in your backyard, inside of your pool screen. No, if you want to do a barbecue out by the road, blasting your music, you can do that. A lot of freedom, no rules in the hood. On the vice versa side of that, you do have to put up with everybody else's garbage. So that's a two-edged sword. You can do whatever you want, but so can everybody else. Number 9 is the gossip. And I'm not talking about the landscaping guy next door is cutting more than just the bushes. I'm talking about a more sinister type of gossip. It's an unwritten newspaper that everybody except the police knows. Sometimes I'm driving through a neighborhood after a shooting and I find out more about the shooting than the cops will just by driving around with your windows down. It's like the neighborhood news. Even if you don't live there, just driving around, you can find out gossip in the neighborhood. People are very gossipy. They're very into your business. They're watching what time you leave the house. If you bought a new car, you must be making more money. And most of the time, this gossip is very negative, and it's related to crimes, burglaries, maybe somebody who was murdered. And it can actually become quite overwhelming to know so much information. And it's stuff you don't even want to know sometimes. And sometimes you just got to sometimes I'll meet somebody and say, hey, I'm not interested. I don't want to know anything. Number 10 is the quality of housing. Now, if you've lived in gated communities your whole life, you can't even begin to understand what the quality of housing is like in the hood. May it be a cockroach crawling on you at night while you're sleeping, or you're sleeping and you wake up to a puddle because the roof is leaking, or you have asthma and you really don't have asthma, you have mold inside the house and you don't even know. The living conditions for poor people are unbearable. And a lot of rich people who've lived their whole lives in decent housing, they have no idea how this affects your temperament, how it affects your health, how it affects your mental condition, and your comfort. It just puts you on edge. Sometimes before you even get out the door and go to work, you're already having a bad day. Your mattress is uncomfortable. It makes your back and your neck hurt. Before you even start working, your back and your neck already hurts. Your car makes your hip hurt because the seats are uncomfortable. It's a lot of stuff that you're not even aware of as a poor person until you get into that Jaguar and you say, wow, these seats are comfortable. Until you buy a brand new mattress and you say, wow, this thing is great. Just like people from a better background don't understand how it's like to be poor, people from a poor background don't understand the comforts of living a good life. It also leaves a psychological wound in your head, especially all that information, all the murders, all the things that you listen to it, you know what happened. Can you imagine living in a place where you know somebody's killed several people and you just you can't do anything about that? Or you know so much, you know there's a drug dealing operation at a house, or you know somebody's doing something very bad, and for your own safety, even though you know what the right thing is, you can't do it. Because the legal system isn't going to protect you. The legal system isn't going to do anything for you. You're on your own out there. And I think psychological problems are a huge thing people are dealing with out there. They have no outlet. They have no escape. It's just their minds are filled with so many things that are negative and harmful. And I think a lot of people that are coming from that background, when they get some money, consider some psychological help. I know that when I came up from my situation, looking back now, I could have really used some psychological help. And getting out is actually just as hard as being there, because now everything changes. You know, the most dangerous thing is, you know, coming from that background, you feel that you have to impress people. You feel that you have to show off. And that doesn't really matter, because now that you have money, people's opinions don't matter anymore. When you're poor, everybody's opinion matters because you depend on them for 1,000 things. But when you have your own money, now you don't depend on anybody, so you don't have anybody to impress, really. And that can be a very difficult thing to adjust to. My situation changed. I had a friend of mine, come up to me and they say, Jose, you're acting like a fool, man. Because even if you get some money, you can do some really stupid things with it and then stay in that situation for the rest of your life. Poor people get money a lot of times and they just don't know what to do with it. They buy rims and they buy gold chains, and they'll blow through a huge amount of money that could have changed their lives on some very stupid things. Luckily, I had people around me that told me, you know, what I needed to be doing was buying real estate, paying off my debts, and making my life better. And I really appreciate that information.